I hear you. I hear you.
How are you?
I'm good.
David Irwin.
Tamika Allen, nice to meet you, David.
Good to see you.
All right. You probably have covered everything, but that's okay.
No.
Whew.
David's our partner in charge with Malden and Jenkins, and David and I have been doing this we were just talking about this. When David first started, we were still on the second floor.
Oh my God.
And the first year they came in, we transitioned from Cherry Becker, and the RFP went out late. They came in late, and they just took over a conference room, hit the ground running, and we haven't looked back since.
Oh, okay.
So we've been together.
One of our favorite stories is actually Augusta. Miller's told it a lot. Miller used to be the partner in charge of this job before he retired, and then I kind of stepped into that role. So we've had a rotation of managers and partners.
So Miller retired?
He did.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Because he usually gives a report.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He retired about 2 years ago.
Okay.
He did. So I kind of came back in the fold and took over from the partner standpoint. But yeah, one of Miller's favorite stories is when, as Tim said, the RFP was issued late. I mean, I think we were awarded the audit in March.
Yeah.
And it was late, and we came over here for kind of a meet and greet. And the first thing Tim said was, "Well, I guess we're gonna have to extend." And Miller and I, no, we don't. We're good. Like, if y'all can get us everything. Our aim, because the audits, you all are 12/31 year in. The audits due June 30, so you have a 6-month time frame to get the audit done. No, we have every intention of meeting this June 30 deadline, and I think Tim was kind of surprised at our optimism.
Yep.
And
it was.
We got it done. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Now we had to renew the contract again, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have 2 to 3 years left on this one.
I think we're in year 3. So, yeah.
Okay. I
But
remember that too.
When they first came, and this was pre everything going online and the advancements in the software, they would just, and because we had to get done, they just brought, I think, everybody from the Macon office. And it's kind of like, first couple of years they did that, and then I think after the first year we fumbled through it, and the second year they came in, they're going, this is the blah, blah, blah. I said, nope, stop. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You cannot change
numbers.
You cannot change seats.
Yeah, we brought a crew out here to get it done.
A couple of them that would come every year, it's got to, hey, how you doing, one?
Because they sat in the same spot.
I met them.
Oh, gosh.
That's how I knew them.
Well, our office and our firm is a little unique in the fact that we audit so many governments across the Southeast, really across the nation now. We audit 700 governments. We audit the most counties in Georgia, most cities in Georgia.
I heard your name when we were at conference. I was
Oh,
at a
yeah,
conference,
oh, yeah.
and
We're
everybody talking
there.
about Malden and Jenkins.
We're
Malden
there.
and Jenkins. Yep.
Absolutely. Hopefully all good news.
All
that you
good.
heard. But a lot of firms view governmental auditing, historically have viewed governmental auditing as something to keep their staff busy outside of tax season. The focus on the CPA firm is tax. To this day, if I go to the dentist, how's tax season? I got tired of finally telling them I'm doing taxes. Now I just say it's fine. But yeah, we have a core group of our people that spend 100% of their time auditing state and local governments. This is what we do. Again, I don't even do my own tax return. I do 0 taxes. I get somebody else to do my own tax return. From what they tell me is tax season, I wouldn't know it because I don't do taxes. So, but it's a year-long effort for us. We have a lot of June 30 year ends. We have a lot of 9/30 year ends. And again, the audits are due to the state within 6 months after the year ends. Our June 30 year ends, we have a 12/31 deadline that, we're busy in November, December trying to meet that. We're actually really busy in the month of March because we have several 9/30 deadlines that are due March 31st. And then obviously we have a bunch of 12/31s too that are due June 30. So it really works out well, the number of engagements that we have and the variety of year ends to keep our people busy throughout the year. And again, the advantage to our clients is that the staff that we have, all they do is audit governments. So it alleviates. Charleston Water System, the first year we audited them, they started talking about tap fees, and we knew exactly what they were talking about. And their previous auditor was a big firm, L.A. Davis. I think that L.A.
Okay.
Davis has an office here.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
And
They still here?
they were
I think they
in a
made
small office here.
small.
Oh, they still
office.
do?
The
Okay, I didn't know they
biggest
still
one's over
did.
in Columbia, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their biggest one's in Columbia. But, anyway, Charleston Water System, they were amazed that we knew what tap fees were. And we were kind of confused. And they said, our prior auditors, they would bring in staff. It was a rotation of staff every year. They had very little governmental experience. And each year, we felt like we had to train their staff on governmental auditing and governmental accounting. So they didn't know what a tap fee was. So we had to train them. So she goes, it's just very refreshing that you know our lingo. You know,
Yeah.
you know what we speak. And you all can appreciate this. Governmental accounting is just completely different than anything else. I mean, it's just a whole different animal. And it's gotten so complicated that I couldn't imagine doing governance on the side while I'm also doing tax work, while I'm also auditing banks. Maybe I'm just not that smart, I don't know. You know, the governmental realm is complicated enough that to me, you really need to be fully involved in it 12 months out of the year. So
Is Joel still on the Gatsby board?
he's the GASB chairman.
Joel Platt
Joel Black.
was partner at Mullen & Jenkins, moved up to the Gatsby board, Governmental Accounting Standards Board. Or,
He's the chairman of the GASB, and the analogy we would use would be if a partner in a law firm was made a Supreme Court justice. I mean,
Gotcha.
in the
So-
GASB world, he is as high as he goes.
Oh my
He
God. Yeah.
oversees all of the auditing standards for GASB.
so that's, and I will cuss at him when he puts out a new pronouncement. I will fuss it.
You know,
Damn it, David, come on.
A lot of the standards that came about, they were already in the pipeline when he came in. So, like the 87, the 96, the
Yes.
leases, the Savitas, that was already in line before he came in. So, he's brought a little bit of sanity to the process and tried to make it a little more simple, if it can be. But
Yeah. But I just wanted you to meet David. I mean, we've been very pleased with Mullen & Jenkins, again, the expertise that they bring to us. And it's not just I see them from April to June. We talk throughout the year, just because I will call them and go, what are your thoughts on this? How you know, if we're getting a new revenue stream, or what was the last one we did? Oh, it was the C-SPLOST. It's kind of, how do we record this, because it can get so convoluted. Is it all debt service? But because we're doing debt service, we're also doing the construction. So those are the type of things we talk through. I'll usually have an idea of what I want to do, and it's kind of bounce it off them, just to make sure I'm not doing something stupid.
Well,
I have to go back and fix later.
Okay.
in that proactive communication throughout the year, it really helps contribute to a smooth and timely audit. You know, if something, and we value that communication, and it's not something, you know, if Tim and I have a 30-minute conversation on the phone about something in, you know, September, he's not going to get a bill for it.
Oh, okay.
We kinda-
Well, I like to hear that.
Yeah, we like to, it's part of the year-long service, because again, the way we view it, that 30-minute conversation in September, if we didn't have that conversation at that time, and this
Yeah,
allowed to
I see.
snowball, and we addressed it in February or March, well, that 30-minute conversation, that may result in 4, 5, or 6 additional hours of work
Yeah.
during that time. So again, we always value that proactive communication, and the finance department at Augusta has always been very good at that.
So y'all start next month?
We're starting April, what we said, 21st? Yeah.
So they won't get to be here doing Masters, huh?
No.
Yeah, I hear y'all have a golf tournament.
Yes,
I know
yeah,
nothing about
yeah.
that, but yeah, historically, we've always been very respectful of the fact that y'all are kind of busy this time
Yes,
of year.
yeah,
The city's kind of
yeah.
busy, so we don't certainly want to interfere with that. So we've always aimed for, you know, a week or two after Masters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously the goal, not really the goal, it will happen, you know, to get the audit wrapped up by the June 30 deadline.
Okay.
Present the results of the audit to council or to the board in mid to late July.
So what we usually start with the elected officials because they have some specific audit requirements that they have to fulfill.
Mhm.
And then we'll throw, Risa and Steve, because those are two bigger operations that they can get started with while we finish up. What our process is, we keep our books open for receivables and payables, or receivables more through the end of February. So that's why you always hear us say, gonna be April before you get to the year end because we gotta wait to close out the
That's
books.
And that's with every government, every government with the 60-day accruals. I mean, for our June 30 clients, we don't start working on the audit until about September at the earliest because they need July and August to work through those accruals.
Gotcha.
So with you all being a December 31st year end, you need January, February to get the accrual process completed, March to kind of wrap up the loose ends, and then April we're good to go to start.
Okay.
Yeah, so we give the departments March to get their stuff cleaned up. Tell them it has to be finalized to finance around April 1st, and that gives us a couple weeks to just review things.
Okay.
We know where our hot buttons are,
Mhm.
we know our hot issues, so, but it's just, we get it done.
Mhm.
You know, May, I'm gonna be busy.
June, busier.
Busier. One of the things we need to transition is, I was always the point of contact for the audit.
Mhm.
And I got Donna free to do other stuff.
Okay.
So obviously, as we transition through that, we're gonna make some changes. But, so this year, just as we're trying to figure out what we're doing, I'm still gonna be a point of contact for
Mhm.
that. And hopefully next year, we'll have other folks involved in place where they can transition to. That doesn't mean that I'm the only person they ever talk to.
Okay.
It's just, this way I know what they're asking for, where we're at now in the process, and what's not being done. 'Cause, you know, inevitably, somebody will forget to copy me on something, all of a sudden it's a big ticket item, and I didn't know about it, and say, you know, I can fuss a little bit harder than you can,
Yeah.
cause you're auditors, but, you know, it's easier just so we all keep on track, and we keep communications open. I mean, it's just, I don't think I go a week without talking to.
No, not at all.
Somebody-
And the audit approach is kind of what we call a hybrid approach. 10,
Mhm.
15 years ago, especially before COVID, as Tim said, we would bring 8, 9, 10 people out here and just set camp up at your boardroom for a month or two.
That's what they're gonna do. This what y'all doing this time as well. Okay.
Well, again, that's what we used to do. What we
Mhm.
typically do now, and we found that our clients prefer this better, is that, again, we do what we call a hybrid approach, where in yesteryear, we may have spent 8 weeks out here. Now, we may spend 2 weeks in actual out here in field,
Okay.
and then the rest of it's done remotely. Because a lot of this stuff is electronic, that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go
okay.
back and forth. And we found that our clients like that a lot better too, because we certainly respect the fact that, Tim's day-to-day responsibilities, they're not put on hold because we're here. We're adding to his workload.
Mhm.
So we want to be as respectful of his time and his staff's time as possible. And again, with so much of this stuff we can do electronically, we try to do that as much as possible. However, during those weeks where we are working remotely or from our office, we'll have Zoom meetings once or twice a week, again, just to make sure we're on the same page. Our I's are being dotted, T's are being crossed, and nothing's slipping through the cracks. And while we may have Zoom meetings where we're seeing each other on the computer twice a week, we're talking every day. So that constant communication is there.
Yeah. And it does, I mean, I think the biggest thing since COVID is just, they get access to Central Square,
Mhm.
which has been, from my standpoint, just a huge help. Because now I don't have to download,
Yeah, they can just
Yeah.
run.
I don't have to download the entire journal ledger. I still give them the trial balances to start with, because that's kind of that's the point where we're going, we're done, here, it's yours. But don't have to download the journal ledger, because believe it or not, our general ledger is huge. A lot of stuff.
It's a couple of trees, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
countries. So, but,
Absolutely. But I know, I mean, it's, you know, part of the reason why I want to come down here is to, you know, obviously introduce myself to you and, just kind of have a little kickoff meeting with Tim as far as the audit goes, because needless to say, I know there's been a lot of activity, at the government this year, and, hurricane related as well.
Yeah,
You know,
it's been
I
a
mean,
lot of activity.
That's, a little activities is putting it lightly, so just want to see how things are going, and, I told Tim earlier, I really wanted to come out here, earlier, you know, December, January, but I knew that you all had your hands full as far as transitional things
Yeah.
and the hurricane, so, it sounds like you all were kind of thrown into the deep end.
We were
From-
just a little busy, wasn't we? Tim get tired of us calling him. How much money do we have, Tim?
we're broke. That's all
That's,
right.
yeah.
Words you'll never hear me say. I mean, one of the other things, you know, we focus on the audit for dealing with David and his group, but they also do work for us on, all of our bond issuances.
Mm-hmm.
We have agreed upon procedures, and basically it's just have that outside person look at the financial portion of the bond issuances to make sure it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where this has changed from back in the day, in the old days when I was in public accounting, and even then, it's just, there used to be, they're my auditors, they do my audit work, they do a little bond work, that's all they can do.
Mhm.
But now because firms have changed their dynamics, I guess, and how they structure, you know, like we met with Bonnie last week.
Yes.
While they can't do the internal audit work, if we have other, I'll let you, I mean, basically, they can help us as a consultant, somebody else in another office, another portion of Malden Jenkins can
Yeah,
also
but-
have be a resource for other.
Yeah, we're essentially Malden Jenkins CPAs and advisors, and the advisory portion, it is really taken off in the accounting industry. And what I mean by that, we've hired a partner. He used to be at KPMG. And all he does is consulting advisory work.
We didn't meet him, did we?
No, you don't.
Yeah, okay.
No,
No. But what he specializes in is, you know, operational assessments. And a lot of times when there's new management that comes in, he can come in and really, I mean, it's a huge operation what he does. He'll spend 6 to 9 months interviewing people and just going through the organization as a whole. And what's going wrong, what's going right, and kind of giving management leadership a roadmap of, you know, suggestions of each department and the positives, the negatives, the improvements that can be made. Is a department overstaffed? Is it understaffed? He's done that with Gwinnett County. He's doing that right now with DeKalb County. I believe he's probably gonna do that with Columbus here shortly. So it's something that a lot of the larger governments are looking to get into. And again, just give us a roadmap of where we're at, where we need to be, and the steps to get there. So with you taking on this new role, that is something I kind of wanted to bring to your attention, that if you're ever interested in that, that's certainly something that I can get you in touch with this partner to talk to you about.
Okay.
And you know, Gwinnett County, again, like I said, that's something he did, I think, last year. I'll be more than happy to kind of to send you that report if you'd like.
Could
just
you?
to give you an idea of what
Yes.
all he did.
Yes.
I mean, it's 1,200 pages long. I mean, that's how thorough it is.
But I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
You, Mr.
absolutely.
Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll, I can certainly send that to you.
Okay.
And, you know, again, with you coming into this new role, I just kind of thought that may be something you may be interested in doing. And again, it's completely separate from the audit, because there is an independence issue there as well. Not issue, but we have to make sure that we're not doing anything on the consulting side that would violate our independence as your external auditor. So that's never been a problem. Again, the 3 entities I just mentioned, we're all their auditors as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, that's certainly not an issue. But again, as large of a government as you all are, and the changes that have been going on, it kind of popped in my head on the way over here is, you know, an operational type assessment may be something they would be interested in.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll send that to Tim and yourself, and just to give you,
Okay.
you know, my idea of what it entails. But again, I mean, this is very thorough. I mean, like I said, it's about 1,200 pages long.
But how long does he do it? Is he?
I mean, he's not in here all the time, but I mean, it's a process from A to Z. It's probably about 6 months.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's, and he also, he has things that he does, but a lot of the stuff that he does is based on interviews from employees and department heads of their concerns, just getting an understanding of their operations, how they do things, and how they can do things better. And it's not a gotcha type deal. It's really just a report that just, again, highlights what you're doing right and areas and items that, you know, could possibly be improved.
Is it more based on financial transactions, or is it expanded beyond that?
No, it's beyond that. I mean, it entails everything. It can really entail whatever you would like as well. Again, that's why the interviews are important. You know, where are your concerns at? Where should we focus on? I mean, I was talking the other day, because we met with Columbus. He was gonna go for Gwinnett County. He was gonna look at the police officers' body cams and do some kind of testing to make sure they're operating correctly and this, that, and the other. I mean, it is far more extensive than just the finance department of the county. It's all encompassing for every department. So, again, just kind of bring that to y'all's attention.
Okay.
And if there's no interest there, absolutely no harm, no foul.
Oh no.
Well, man,
Please send it.
I'm definitely wanting to see the report now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So yeah, I'll send that to you.
Okay,
Okay.
please.
Any other questions? Again, just what do you need,
No.
David?
You just
Thank
need,
you.
I really
No,
didn't have an agenda.
I didn't have it. I don't have any questions. Okay.
Yeah, and just, you know, as far as the audit goes, if there's ever any concerns that you have, any area that you want us to look into a little bit more, I mean, that's part of the process as well.
Tim
And that's
knows
not-
on my head. You
that's-
know what I'm thinking, Tim.
Well, that's certainly not something that we have to answer today,
Oh, I know.
since we haven't started the audit, but I wanted to throw that question out there.
You know what is on my head too.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What I had in mind was, once we get this report back, and I'm just thinking out loud, once we get this report back, maybe we can review it and discuss it. It might be a good idea to invite them to our budget retreat to kind of have them sort of explain this report. What do you think?
The report as far as the audit report or the?
Well,
operation?
see, that's gonna be. You talking about Gwinnett? Oh, you talking about the budget report that they're gonna?
Just
No,
the type of report that they can
Gwinnett.
produce.
Oh, the
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett. You
Yeah.
are talking about the Gwinnett.
Just
So the operational assessment.
operational
Oh, sure.
assessment.
No, I mean, that's certainly something, you know, the partner's name is David Roberts. He's out of the Atlanta office. And again, he worked at KPMG, which is the fourth largest accounting firm, I think, in the nation. He worked there for 20 years, I believe. And then he came on board with us about 5 or 6 years ago. But yeah, I mean, you know, I can bring him down and we could have a meeting, the 4 of us, 5 of us, just to do introductions. We could do it virtual. If you want to bring other people in, the budget, we can do whatever you all want.
I'd like to see us read it, maybe discuss it in house, and if it's something that we can make as an agenda item on the budget retreat, it might be something we can look into. Just thinking
Yeah.
out loud.
It's something that we've been hearing more and more from the governing body. But again, I'm going to point out the fact it's not going to be cheap. We're looking at $300,000-$400,000, give or take. Plus or
Yeah, I mean,
minus.
it would, I think the Gwinnett type thing, I'd have to punt to David on that. I mean,
Okay.
I think
I think it's worth vetting in house first.
$500,000.
Yeah, and that's just based on our conversations about, you know, going out for that RFP for internal audit. I mean, that's gonna be annually at least $300,000
Yeah.
just to get to the point where we need to be. And the governing body's gonna have to accept that and go, this is a cost. Now, if they don't, then
I think this provides us a little more insight than probably.
Yes,
I'd love
this
to see it.
this is something separate from the internal audit.
Yeah.
This is,
Because again, it's all encompassing.
Yeah, operational assessment, right? That's what you're
Yes.
calling it?
Yes, sir.
yes, and that's what they've been fussing about a bit,
Mhm.
but we need, if I had an extra $1 million in my budget, we need both. You know, I just think it is important that the internal audit function get back up and running to where it should be.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I mean, this can also complement the internal audit function. The term I used earlier was roadmap. This kind of helps also give the internal auditor a roadmap, if you will, of what departments they need to focus on and improve
Yes.
that process as well.
Yes.
So, there's multiple advantages to doing something like this.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
I mean, from a big picture, trying to step outside a little bit. Augusta's kind of plateaued, and we are where we are who we are. My goal has always been, from day one, is to get us to a AAA bond rating. Having something like this is a good step, because our financials are good. It's where we're lacking is some of the management and administrative and governing body policies that we kind of don't have. And the first step we took last year was to get the fund balance policy adopted.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then y'all had to have a hurricane and screwed up my fund balance. But that's the type of thing that they're looking at. Are we paying attention to our operations? And one of the things that the bond rating agencies look at is with ESG, it's the environmental stuff that they look at and question us on.
Mhm.
So I think something like this could help us with that. Just here, we've had, if nothing else, we've had somebody else from the outside come look at us. These are the suggestions. We're saying yes to this, yes to this, yes to this, no to that, or no to that at this time. But let them know that we are forward thinking, that we're looking to move forward and take us to the next level.
I think it's a good management tool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll start, I don't know, realistically, y'all get involved at the very end, a
Okay.
couple letters. The last day before we get, in the last week before we issue, it's always scrambled to get the representation letters, the management letters. One other letter that I typically forget.
No, I think that's the main.
But, I mean, that's kind of, we try to stay out of your hair.
Okay.
Because it's not.
But that being said, if you want to be more involved in the audit process, I don't want to assume anything. So
Okay.
if you would want updates monthly, every 2 weeks, weekly, I mean, whatever you want, just let us know and we'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
It's really just my personal preference.
And we'll just discuss some of the things we want you guys to look a little more thorough into.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let us know. As Tim said, we'll probably get the audit started, about a month from today, around that, April 21st time.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then, we'll be working pretty diligently, following 2.5 months, get this thing done by June 30. So, we'll definitely be around. So,
Okay.
please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Again, I apologize for the delay.
No problem. Gave us some time to catch up.
You have a card, sir?
I don't have one.
Yes, sir. I look forward to seeing that
Yeah,
report.
absolutely. I'll
Yes.
send you an email tomorrow.
Okay.
Good seeing you.
Nice to meet you,
Yes,
David.
ma'am. You too.
All right.
Take care.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shrimp. Okay. Thank you, man.